this is, in my opinion, going to be a huge emerging trend that more and more people are going to latch onto, and that is using social media avenues for real-time customer service. There's one example in specific that I want you to Google later on and read the white paper on this. I'll read you an excerpt from the blog post about it. But the main thing is, like Jen just said about Googling yourself for personal brand, I encourage everybody to set up Google alerts and that sort of stuff for not only your personal brand, your name, your company name, your industry, and be very specific so that you can find out in as near to real time as possible if there's any sort of fire that you have to put out. From a PR situation, it can be a very big deal. If you have a pencil or pen or something to take a note on, I'd like you to Google this phrase later on. The first link that shows up is going to be a link to an article. It's the name Ron Plouffe, Ford. Ron, his last name is Plouffe, P-L-O-O-F, and Ford as in the Ford Motor Company. Ron Plouffe is a marketing guy that wrote a white paper on how Ford used social media to put out a huge fire in about 24 hours. I'll read an excerpt just from his article because it's very pertinent to this situation. I think it'll help a lot of people out to understand exactly what happened and try to model their business response after something like this. On December 9th, 2008, Jim Oakes, the administrator for a fan site called the Ranger Station, which the Ranger Station is a fan website for the Ford Ranger. Okay? The administrator posted to the group's message boards saying that the site was being attacked by the Ford Motor Company. Within 2 minutes of the first response, within 2 minutes, the first response came in, and over the course of the day, almost 1,000 more posts rolled in on the site and all over Twitter and Facebook, and you can imagine. There were all sorts of angry responses to the big bad Ford Motor Company, who was obviously picking on a loyal 10-year-old fan site. Okay, so it was a well-established fan site, and they felt like they were being picked on for using Ford's brand and company name and that sort of thing, probably their logo. So within 24 hours, the same site administrator for the Ranger Station had posted an article about their resolution with the Ford Motor Company, because in that span of time, a PR guy with Ford had figured out what was going on and had jumped onto Twitter and spent the whole day on the website forum and on Twitter putting out the fire. And Ron Plouffe, that I want you to Google, is the fellow who wrote the white paper on the whole process of what happened and how they did it. It's a good read from a public relations standpoint. So, in effect, just be aware that there are tools out there to allow you to investigate your company and your brand, and in as near to real time as possible, you can avoid some PR nightmares.